Okay, so Sam's up. What's up, Sammy says, how would you start getting a new YouTube channel ready for launch jacking a product that's releasing in about 3 weeks? That's a good question, Sam. Well, one thing, I would have syndication network set up. I would also probably post a few videos of just something related to whatever the product launch is going to be, you know, in the same industry or something like that, just to kind of prime the channel and the networks. I'm assuming you probably already have syndication networks up that are seasoned a bit anyways. And if that's the case, then you don't need to worry about that. You know, you could do some link building to the channel and all that kind of stuff. Also, if you know that you're going to be using video, then I would recommend that you schedule a live event that then you can stream your videos into using something like OBS. Because if you're using syndication networks, you can actually take the scheduled live event and syndicate that out like it was a video, right? Because you still get the embed code and everything else. It's an indexable scheduled live event, right? So it's just like a YouTube watch page and everything. It just doesn't have the video until it streams. And so if you prepare ahead of time and syndicate out a live event, and then you could even use something like Maps Powerhouse or something like that, if you're, you know, an external embed network, if you wanted to get more and more embeds. And that way, when the launch happens, and we've done this, I mean, we've actually, you know, I did training on this in the masterclass when we used to have the masterclass. But you schedule the live event and get a ton of embeds, and on those embeds, if you can get some backlinks to the prime ones, like your primary embedded site, embed sites and all that kind of stuff, then it really helps. Then when you go live with that event, which could just be a recorded video that you stream using something like Wirecast or OBS, but when you actually go live with that event and stream the video, then it just boom, it ranks like crazy. And it really ranks well if you can schedule, and I've done this before with real estate. I've mentioned before that I did SEO for realtors for, I don't know, about 1.5 years, and it was miserable. I didn't like it at all. It was very difficult. And it was difficult just working with realtors, period. But it was also difficult doing SEO in the real estate industry because it was so competitive and you were dealing with behemoth type, like really aged, high authority type sites. It was very difficult. But one of the things and so especially ranking videos for really broad terms like real estate plus city, you know what I mean? Like that was incredibly difficult to do, but I was actually able to do it using the same method I'm talking about now, which was to schedule a live event. I embedded that embed code so that essentially I all over the place. I syndicated that out through my own networks and everything. Then I also scheduled a press release. At the time I was using newswire.net, and newswire.net allowed you to embed a video. And so I scheduled the press release to be published at the exact same time that my video was going to go live for the live event, the feed. And it was just actually, I think I did a real live hangout, but you could do it with just a pre-recorded video like OBS and using something like OBS. And it was great because at the moment that the press release went live is when we went live, or the press release was published is when we went live with the hangout. And it was about a 7-minute hangout. I think I was just interviewing the broker actually. And we ranked on page 1 for real estate Warrenton, VA, which was Warrenton, Virginia. And it stuck for, I don't know, 4 or 5 days before it slipped back to page 2. And that was the longest I had ever had a video. It was the first time I got the video to appear on page 1, period. And it also stuck for 5 days, which I thought was pretty impressive because it was one of those keywords that like Google just didn't want to put a video on for. So to answer your question, that's what I would do. You know, put a little bit of engagement through the channel if you can first, somehow, even if you're spoofing it, because that helps kind of season the channel a little bit. If you have networks that haven't been seasoned, right, or primed, then go ahead and publish a few videos or content, period. It doesn't even have to be videos. You could just do, you know, content. I mean, if it's just YouTube triggered, then you're going to have to do videos, but some content out across the network. And then I would say schedule a live event and learn how to stream, if you don't already know, how to stream into a scheduled live event when you're ready, and perhaps even pick up a press release with an embed feature and do that. Okay, I think that's a great strategy.
Yeah, I agree to what you were saying, Bradley. I would advise Sam that if you're planning to do launch checking more often, I would suggest that you maybe dedicate a network to that so you can have it ready whenever the launch hits, right? So you're kind of priming the pump, right? You're kind of building your assets before you need to use them, so that whenever you need to use them, they're there. They're already, you know, they have authority, they have link juice, they have probably videos already set up. So maybe the first launch jack is harder than the second and the third and whatnot. So if that's something that you really want to start doing, I would suggest that you actually build an asset that will enable you to do that in advance, right? So
yeah, and also, you know, I know that unfortunately the really good offer from Press Advantage that we promoted closed down. There is still an offer for 3 press releases per month, authored, you know, done for you for $349, I think it is. So I would suggest, Sam, and in a few months after the holidays, guys, Jeremy and Press Advantage, we're going to have another promotion. It won't have the same level of offer that we provided or that Jeremy gave us so graciously the last time. It won't be that good, but it'll still be very good. And so, Sam, if you're really going to do launch jacking, if that's going to be a business model that you want to pursue, then I highly recommend that you get a subscription to a good press release service, because you're going to press releases are a great way for launch jacking to get results, especially when you learn how to when you know how to do it right. So, like Local PR Pro, even though that's for local stuff, that same method works very good, very well for launch jacking, because guys, launch jacking keywords typically are their new keywords because they're product names, and so because of that, they're not very competitive. So if you can come in with high authority sites through like press releases, for example, and you know how to stack, and you can hit several different keyword variations in kind of like a PR silo, which is basically like a stack anyways, you can get significant results that way and just crush the competition. So there's a lot of work that goes into launch jacking, though, because it's a lot of setup and preparation for each launch. Just keep that in mind. You might want to try to build systems or processes around what you do, Sam, once you develop your own internal processes so that you can hire some of that stuff out. You can pay a VA to do a lot of the setup work.